Hello everyone. Welcome to our final year project presentation titled, Study of Cyberattacks at CST using Honeypot. These are the outlines for the entire presentation that will be covered.
Cyber attack all over the world is constantly growing. As many people have access to the system physically and through remote access, the major difficulty lies in maintaining a high level of security because the techniques or methods used by attackers to break into our system are constantly changing. Hence, security professionals face difficulties in understanding and identifying cyber attacks at times. So to know the attack pattern and to predict the attacker's motive for intruding into the system, honeypot is one way to know that. But what exactly is a honeypot? The term honeypot was derived from the world of espionage, where romantic relationships were used as a way to steal secrets. Enemies are compromised by traps and then forced to hand over everything he or she knows. In cybersecurity terms, honeypot works in a similar ways. Honeypots act as a bait for an attacker. Honeypots are made attractive to attackers by deliberately keeping the security vulnerabilities. So once an attacker gets into the weak system, which is actually a honeypot, it allows attackers to exploit vulnerabilities, so everything they perform on that system will be stored in log files, such as the comments they enter, files they have downloaded. Everything will be stored. So all in all, with the help of logs, we will be able to know how the cyber criminal operate. According to Lance Spitzer, a honeypot is an information system resource whose value lies in unauthorized or illicit use of that resource. Cyber attack all over the world is constantly growing. It has been shown that educational institutes like universities are the ones that are most vulnerable to cyber attacks. Although our colleges have traditional lines of defense such as firewalls, intrusion detection and prevention systems, they are not enough to safeguard our network from attackers. So far, no study on cyber attack was done in CST, which made us to take this as our project. Our ICT officer, Mr. Jiwan, stated that there were many requests for SSH on log, but it was never examined. As a result, a honeypot can be used as a part of security deception tool, not to fix the problem, but to help in prevention, detection, information gathering, and studying attackers' behaviors and use that information to improve network security. The aim of our project is to study the cyber attacks at CST using Honeypot. To fulfill this aim, we have the following objectives: setting up and deploying honeypots in the College of Science and Technology network, collection of data from the honeypot for 3 weeks or more, identifying the cyber attacks from the data collected, doing a literature review on the type of attack and its impact on the organization. To explain the workings of both internal and external honeypots, we firstly collaborated with Epnic, and they provided a Cowrie and Dioneer honeypot node. We will be using their server instead of creating our own server. With the help of a virtual machine, we installed 2 guest operating systems, that is Ubuntu 20.04 LTS, and we dedicated one for the internal Dioneer honeypot and the other one for the external Cowrie honeypot. The internal honeypot is placed in the local area network of our college network, and the external honeypot is placed on the external network of our college network. The diagram shows the internal honeypot is deployed. With the help of network scanner tool, Nmap finds out whether the honeypot server is up or not. And similarly for external honeypot, with the Nmap tool, we are able to discover both the ports 22 for SSH and 23 for telnet server up and running on external query Honeypot. The internal Honeypot collects data in SQLite format. To have structured data for better analysis, we convert SQLite format to JSON format, and this is achieved with the help of Python script. Furthermore, to back up the data collected in our Honeypot to the Epnik server and to visualize the data in the ELK stack, the FileBit service is used. For external Honeypot, that is query Honeypot, it collects data in a normal log file. With the help of HTTP feeds, the logs are sent to the Epnik server to serve as a backup and visualize the data collected. HTTP feeds is a lightweight publish or subscribe protocol used to publish or push data to a designated destination. After using HTTP feeds, the data will be converted into MongoDB format and it will be further converted into JSON format to have structured data for visualization. After installing it, we extracted all the data collected for the month of April and got very useful information from it. For external Honeypot, we couldn't find any attack, and to figure out why, our team conducted a survey in our college because we can't directly assume that students and staff are not interested or haven't attempted anything. We received 369 responses to the survey. From the survey, we concluded that many students are aware of cyber attacks, but they lack knowledge and experience. This could be due to the following reasons. Firstly, never offered cybersecurity as one of the modules. Secondly, less concern in the security field. And lastly, lack of interest. But for the external Honeypot, we could find out the top 10 username, password, username and password combination, country, organization and comments tried on our Honeypot. From two protocols, that is SSH and Telnet, we could observe that Telnet had the most attacks compared to the SSH. We also found out that there were two files being downloaded from the URLs shown. From observations, we found out that root is the most used username because the root user is the most privileged user on Linux or Unix systems. From observations, we found out that root is the most used username because the root user is the most privileged user on Linux or Unix systems with full access to the commands and file systems. The root account exists on all Linux or Unix systems by default, thus providing the attacker easy to guess only the password associated with the root user. The attacker tried the simple password and passwords having a simple pattern. This is because attackers are aware that most people use simple passwords for easy remembrance. This indicates that people shouldn't use simple passwords and passwords with the simple patterns. Upon using VirusTotal to figure out the files downloaded, we found out that it was Monero Miner and Mirai malware. We found out that it tries to firstly download the file that is required to set up all the necessary things into the infected system using the curl or widget tool. Then it executes the file by providing the hostname of the Monero node, port number, and lastly the miner's wallet. These types of malware can make the system slow and generate lots of electricity bills. If many systems in an organization are infected with cryptocoin miners, the cost incurred will be huge and the time spent will be more in finding out the performance issues of the system and fixing them. Mirai malware uses a control and command server, and after infecting one vulnerable system, the system will be converted into a botnet which can be commanded to launch a DDoS attack on a specific organization. This malware had a history of numerous DDoS attacks, and the most famous one is the DDoS attack on the DNS provider DYN. This DDoS attack made some of high-profile websites such as GitHub, Netflix, Reddit and many others inaccessible to use. Upon analysis, it was estimated that there were a total of 100,000 endpoints involved in the attack. This shows that the impact on organizations is enormous. If there are DDoS attacks, it will be even more challenging to deal with, especially if the endpoints are more. And if our organization is infected by Mirai malware, we will be directly or indirectly contributing to some DDoS attacks. There are more attacks on Telnet compared to SSH. One reason could be that Telnet is insecure and used by malicious malware to scan and attack other vulnerable devices. The number one country that generated attacks on the honeypot was India. Upon close observation, most of the attackers' IP addresses were similar to the honeypot IP address. This would mean that range of IP addresses scanned started from the first and second block of the attacker's IP address. The number one organization that generated attacks on the honeypot was the computer system. It is located in Bangladesh. The suspicious part of that organization was that all the 2,716 attacks were from a single IP address, and it was also noted that this particular IP had the highest number of attacks on the CST network. From the above finding, we can conclude that the above IP address is infected by Mirai malware and it is actively scanning for vulnerable devices over the internet.
In the future, security should be given more priority. Launch Honeypot and other RUB colleges. Continuation of our project might help juniors. Collaboration with AppNic. Thank you everyone for watching till the end.